friends, welcome into the Leadership Sandbox. This is going to be a fast, quick, in a hurry conversation, and it's based on one that I had earlier this week about, are you in the right seat on the bus? But more importantly, are your team members in the right seat on the bus? I was talking with a leader that was struggling with a couple of people on their team about their performance, not so much their performance, like they're not underperforming. It's just that we're not getting anything extra above and beyond out of them. And it seems like the creativity in the performance it's missing, it's lacking, it's not there. Here's what I know to be true. You have an opportunity to actually do an assessment and audit to see if you have the right seats in seats. Let's start with yourself. Are you the right leader for this team? Are you the right person to actually be leading these people forward? If you're not getting the performance out of them that you want and that you need, is it about offing it to somebody else like me? Bring me in. I'm going to coach. I'm going to help your team get there. Yes, that could be part of it because you're distracted with other things or you're focused on other elements that needs to be focused within the leadership realm of the team or of the organization or the business. I got that. Cool. Do that. Happy to help. However, when we have the consistent cadence with the team problem, you got to look at yourself and go, okay, but now what? Do I have these people in the right place for the position that I need, for the outputs that I need for this position to have? If they're consistently not hitting the mark for you, then the conversation changes. And this is what I said to the leader. It's time to do that audit of who's in what seat. But first, before we can do that, we need to audit what are the seats that we need. I just did that for Leadership Sandbox, Bond Group Enterprises. I just did that of what are the seats that we need for the team to grow to the next level. Oftentimes we do start with the people. Do I have the right people in place to grow? I want to challenge that. What are the seats that you need first? And then who are the people that are to fill those? What are the qualities and the qualifications to fill those? And then who do I have on the team that have those qualities and qualifications? And what are they currently doing on the team? And is that what's best for them? One leader, this was quite a while ago, we actually established they had to redo all of the positions, most all of the positions on the team, because they realized they didn't have the right positions, the right expectations for the positions, the right goals for the positions, goals, expectations, but also they didn't have the right clarity as the leader of what they were building, of really what was required to hit the marks that they were going toward. And we got up on the whiteboard, which, I love a whiteboard. One of these days I'm going to have my whiteboard up behind me and I'm going to be writing on it. And I'm going to do a whole Brendan Bouchard style. Probably not sticky notes though. I'm not a fan, but I love a good flip chart and I love a good big marker. So I travel with Sharpie markers. Back on track, Tim. What we did is we got up on the flip charts on the whiteboard and we actually mapped out what's the goal, what's required to get there, what do you presently have that's going to get you there, where are the gaps, and who are the people that you have, where are they sitting on the bus? Are they a front seat dweller? Are they a back row dweller? Do they like the exit row because they want to bail quickly? Where are they on your bus? And are they in the right seats? And how do you then adjust and shift? But you got to do an assessment of your people to see and ask them what they want, what more they want, what less they want, what you want to ask them, what lights them up. Be curious with them about the parts of the job they love and the parts of the job they hate, because we all have things that we get to do day in and day out in our work, whether we own our business, whether we work for somebody else or we work for the government or whatever it is. There's something we're all struggling with. It's true. The reality is, how do we take those struggles and lessen them and make them just part of the, yep, I get it. It's part of my working frustration. If I'm going with the working genius model that I love facilitating with teams, thank you, Patrick Lencioni, for that amazing tool. The working genius model tells us where our working genius is, our competencies and our frustrations, and and I dive into what are the behaviors, but the energy as well that goes into the outputs from each of those geniuses. We have them. Each of those working competencies, the frustrations, the working geniuses, they're all part of who we are. And we can step into any of the 6 of them at any given time. It's just what takes our energy, what gives us energy, and what just leaves us feeling bleh. Right? And so we want to see that we have people that are in the right position, doing the right tasks and duties that we need them to do to not only advance the goal, hit the goal, exceed the goal. We actually want to know that they're getting energy, building energy and momentum along the way. And it's not about having fun and having a good time, but boy, what a bonus if it is. Because it really is about, at the end of the day, is everybody aligned to what your mission and vision and values are that you're saying as the leader or as the business owner that you're wanting to create and that you're wanting to perpetuate on repeat again and again. And then we're going to disrupt it, right? Because a little disruption is fine. I like disruption. It's when it becomes the normal because we only operate it out of disruption that chaos then sets in, and that actually becomes destructive, not in a good way. But it starts with identifying what are the actual seats on your bus that you need so that you have the right people in them. Because if you have somebody on the bus, this leader I was just talking to, they're really a great person. They do good work. They do solid work. But what I get out of them is just that. What I'm expecting from that position is something this person is not delivering on. But they've never had the conversation with the individual about the expectations of the position and how they can win at that position. So we've identified what they want. They've got a who in there. They know the who isn't doing and performing at that level, but they're afraid to have that conversation. And it's not because they're wearing the friend hat. It's because they're wearing kind of the avoidant behavior hat. I'm just going to avoid that. Hopefully they'll figure it out. If we give them enough tasks and jobs to do, they're going to figure out it's not right for them and they'll move on or they'll succeed. Let's see. Well, that's like covering your eyes with your right hand and throwing a dart with your left hand, hoping to hit the bullseye. And if you're right-handed, that's really going to mess you up because you're throwing the dart with your left hand. So you're completely upside down. For me, I'm left-handed, so it works. But not blindfolded, not with one hand over my eye and expecting. You've heard me say it before, hope is not a strategy. Well, we all want hope in our job that it's going to get better. Yes, but there's action that is required to the hope. And that's kind of like back in the day. I'm going to flash back. Remember when vision boards were like all the rage? And it was that whole manifestation phase. And there's still an element of that. And I certainly think a vision board is very powerful. Sets a course. But there's action that goes into that. It's not just if I pin a pretty picture up on the wall, I'm then going to be that or have that or achieve that. Yes, it keeps our attention focused there. But if our actions don't align to that, it's just a pretty picture on the wall. Kind of like my spaceman behind me. Thanks to Derek Gorse. Great artist, by the way. I encourage you to look him up. What I want to encourage you with is this, and my last and final. I told you this is going to be fast and in a hurry. Identify what for the bus first. How about what's the bus? Then we put the seats in it. And that seats is about what do we want? What are the positions that we need to have? What do we want to have? What's required for us to have so that we can be successful? Then, and this is all really important because we're going into the last part of the year where all this planning ought to be happening to set us up for success in 2026. Can you believe it? So start the planning now, but let's take the bus apart and put it back together, not based on the people that we have, based on the needs that we have so that we can grow based on the want of the growth model that we have before us. The who comes after we get all the what. What's got to come first? How? That'll come. Who comes after? The very last. I would offer, as I'm sitting here thinking out loud, I would offer the what comes, right? The how, we're going to put a model in there, and then the who. So many people start with the who. I saw a really great post on LinkedIn the other day about, that people are hiring for resume, not heart. And it was kind of a call to action, like, hey, leaders, don't do that, right? Hire for heart. You can't train heart. People come with it. But if you're hiring based on the resume because these people look really good and we like them, that's cool. That's awesome. Hooray for you. However, you're going to end up with a lot of people in seats on the bus that don't match and make sense. So it's up to you. Identify what, how, then who. All right, friends, that's my conversation with you for today. You can tell that I've had some pretty cool conversations with the last few weeks with people that are looking at the end of the year going, all right, do I have the right people? It feels a little chaotic. I don't want it to be chaotic. Yep. All of this can be solved. It's going to take some intentionality and some really bold conversations. That's what I'm here for all day long. Thanks for joining me today. As you know, I like to say leadership is not something that we're born with. It's something that you grow into. And you took time today to grow into your next level of leadership and to look at the bus and how do you rip it apart and put it back together again? Just like a good Lego set, right? Take it apart, rebuild it. Maybe it's going to become something completely different. Maybe it's not going to be a bus. Maybe it's going to be a spaceship. How about that? All right, leaders, thanks for joining me in the Sandbox today. We'll see you next time in the Leadership Sandbox. Make it a great day. Don't forget, like, share, comment, tell us how we're doing. Tell us what more you want. I'd love to hear some more bold conversations from you, bold questions from you that I can help answer, because all of these episodes come out of a conversation that I've shared in previous weeks. You might have noticed. Make it a great day. God bless.